Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to another episode of Albion World News. Just to talk about what's going on, why it's a little bit later than I was hoping it would be. I have actually recorded this once already, went to upload it, tried to do all that sort of stuff. Would not load, no idea why. When I actually opened it up, it was as if it was recorded by a potato. Like the quality on it just wasn't there. I don't know what happened with it. So we're going for another attempt right now. So first things first, we're going to talk about the map, things that have changed since last week. The last time we looked, obviously last time we looked, we saw a lot of like War Legend Money Guild going on in the High Outlands. Obviously the High Outlands is where we're going to start today. We see Exertion, Conflict, 8-Team, Gentleman, Tea Party. We now see basically Money Guild has entirely taken over Murcia. We see Millennium. I believe Millennium are actually separate guild. We see Zorn and Millennium fighting a little bit. Nilfgaard have pushed in a little bit. Zorn have pushed back into the High Outlands. Between the two of them, they are starting to make some room. We do see Money Guild and actually War Legend. War Legend launching an attack onto Money Guild. They're potentially coming back a little bit. We will talk about them a little bit more in depth soon. But again, Money Guild launching an attack onto Nilfgaard as well. War Legend again trying to push into Tea Party, Tea Party pushing into War Legend, Tea Party pushing into Nilfgaard. Basically, the three big alliances right now: Arch, which is now what War Legend has become; What Happened, which is Oops, which is Money Guild; and actually Zerg, which is Nilfgaard and Zorn. Have kind of all fighting for Murcia at the moment. So that kind of covers Murcia. Just to talk about sort of GVGs in this area at the moment. Typically in Murcia we're seeing 6-2, 6-3 GVGs. We're not really seeing 7s come out yet. People can gather 7, people can gather 8 already, but we're not really seeing people actually use that in GVGs. It's typically 6.2, 6.3 is the average gear levels we're seeing for GVGs at the moment. Doesn't mean it will be long before people start hitting that next couple of tiers of gear. Moving on then to Cumbria. So moving into Cumbria, we start seeing a couple more guilds that we haven't seen at all in the High Outlanders. Chicken Kiss, Vendetta, Team Casualty. We've got Echo Silence here. Cumbria is kind of owned majority by Echo Silence. As you can see, all this top area, Chicken Kiss obviously part of EOS. I believe Team Casualty is as well. Let's just check that, shall we? Team Casualty is, yep. So we see basically the top half of the map here owned completely by EOS EOS Alliance. Moving down, we have Hammer and Sickle, No Life. I don't actually know who this is. Albion Choppers. No idea who that is. I think it's someone that just managed to get a city plot and haven't been able to really do much about it. We see Millennium actually holding a lot into the Midlands. They hold quite a bit into the sort of Highlands as well. They pushed in. They were actually doing a lot better before Nilfgaard and Zorn tipped up and started fighting back. But yeah, so the top half of Cumbria is pretty much EOS owned entirely. The bottom half is a little bit more spread out, but still it's Hammer and Sickle and Echo Shiro, which obviously EOS, and Millennium. Yeah, so basically it's them three guilds, Hammer and Sickle, Millennium, and obviously the EOS Alliance, that are huge players in Cumbria at the moment. Going on to Anglia, then we'll start from the right and work our way across. We've got Titans. Titans really holding a big chunk of the map here, just kind of coming in and being safe. Ruin's not really a guild I'd heard too much about before release, but I've seen them around a couple of times. They do ganking squads, they do things like that. The fact they've got a territory, fair play to them. Moving over, we've got Brazil Forces, typically a yellow zone guild actually from last beta. They tried to push in a red a couple of times, didn't really do too much. We've actually got Money Guild here. Money Guild in Cumbria as well, fighting off Awful Company. Awful Company doing quite well for themselves. Money Guild holding another territory. Brazil Forces actually holding the city, which I imagine Money Guild will take at the earliest opportunity. We see War Legend here as well. So all these big sort of Murcia guilds actually moving in to try and take a bit of Anglia, It's quite cool to see that we're not exempt by being in Anglia from the big guilds. Moving across then, we've got Friendly, Black Mamba. Black Mamba being the offshoot of, I believe it's the Spanish-Portuguese guys from Fame. The Fame Alliance, obviously when they split, but again we'll talk about that more in depth. Furio, not one I've heard too much about, but again they've managed to lock themselves down a city plot and a territory pushing out, so they've got a little bit of a defence around them. There's still the defender bonus is still there on the city plots. I believe it goes up to 75% at the moment. It's insane. It's impossible to fight through, like 60% at the moment. It's impossible to fight through, so no one is attacking city plots at the moment. They may take one shield, but that's basically it. We then have Mercenarios holding a lot of this mid-ground here. Mercenarios, Filthy Casuals, KDS. So a lot of these sort of Spanish guilds in the centre here. Spanish, Portuguese, Brazilian, these sort of guilds. Filthy Casuals. I'm trying to figure out who that is. It's actually, the map's actually bugged for me right now, so I can't tell who this is. I don't recognise the name. Moving across then we have Nilfgaard. Obviously Nilfgaard actually had a couple of territories down here before, but it looks like they've kind of pushed out. You've got Zorn down here pushing into Blackout. Blackout over here. You've got the GG Alliance over here. Getting kind of pushed in by Blackout. We see attacks going on to them pretty much every day at the moment. Nilfgaard pushing into GG as well. So yeah, a lot of pressure for my alliance right now. But again, we see a good variety of guilds, but still Nilfgaard, War Legend, Zorn, Money Guild, all actually still in Cumbria, Anglia. Still nice to see that we've got the bigger guilds there, and there's still a huge variety of guilds in the Black Zone right now. Moving over to the Royals. The Royals, I'm just going to focus on cities really, if it's actually going to let me do anything. I can't actually click on... Does that fix it? Surely not. Well, maybe. There we go. So Utopia, not a guild I've actually heard of, because these are going to start being important soon. You're going to start having the town plots actually come up for sale, which is going to be huge to make like big money. You got Indispensable there, just holding Fort Sterling. They've held it basically since the start. Very well played to them. I don't think they've actually had an attack on it yet, but they are a huge, massive guild. Moving over then, you've got Ruin. So Ruin pushing into the Black Zone, but not pushing particularly far at the moment. Currently holding a lot in Lyndhurst and the foresty area at the moment of the Royals. They've got a little bit of competition, I think, from like Rest in Pieces, that sort of place. Parchrope Plain being that territory that everyone attacks pretty much every day as well. Bridgewatch, Memento Mori. Memento Mori have basically stuck completely to Royals at the moment. House Stark. I've seen House Stark in Black Zone a little bit, but not too much. Actually, a Nilfgaard, random Nilfgaard territory here. Don't know where that's come from. 8 team holding Weir Forest. I think they did that for the fights, if I remember rightly. Over here, we start getting a couple more fights. I believe that's Brazil Forces. Brazil Forces held these three, or fought these three almost every day back in Beta 3. And Zorn actually holding Martlock at the moment, which is interesting to see. So, yeah, a massive variety of guilds. We'll go into the leaderboards in a second, but really guilds are all over the place at the moment. No guild is kind of completely in one area. They're trying to push out in different locations, and that's really cool to see. It's very strategic warfare at the moment. Going on to the leaderboards then. So we're going to start with kill value. Hakuna Matata of No Life actually having 2.5 million kill fame already. That is absolutely insane. What sort of gear is he running right now? Yeah, so he's running his 6-1. Just to talk about it, I actually didn't go through it. Let's finish this a sec. The GVGs at the moment, Cumbria is a 6-1, 6-2, 6-3 as a sort of baller set. You don't see too many of it though. Anglia typically see 6-1, 6-2. 6-3 is just not readily available as much as it is in Murcia right now. So 6-1, 6-2. In terms of Royals, Royals tend to be 5-1, maybe 6 right now, but it doesn't seem to be much higher. Hellgates. We're going to talk about Hellgates a sec, just because I've seen Hakuna Matata here. Hakuna Matata running 6-1. These are all Hellgate kills, pretty much. He just does Hellgates constantly, and fair play to him. He's obviously had great success with them. But he's typically running 6-1 every time. He doesn't run anything less, I don't believe. Let's check all of his kills. Yeah, just a lot of 6-1. So, if you're going to want to be competing with these higher tier guilds, you have to be in 6-1. You have to be competing with that. Just 849 total kill players, and only 35 of them are actually in GVGs, so a lot of Hellgates for this guy. Moving on then, so you've got all the no-life guys. You can see that team runs together a lot. Let's actually have a look at the team comp. I know this is something people have been asking a lot on the official stream. No-life runs, so they've got Carrion Caller on Hakuna Matata, One-Handed Holy and Druid Robe on Zapek, Kapoka running a Demonic Curse Staff with Mage Robe Soldier Helmet, Assassin Boots, Louis running the second Carrion Caller. They do run the double Carrion Caller comp. Double Heavy Smash into the Demonic Circle does a huge amount, and the the Great Hammer for that engage. And that is the no-life comp at the moment. Jagger and his guys of Nilfgaard done quite a few GVGs, but it's 45 only players killed. And yeah, basically a lot of this has come from Hellgates. Another team running pretty much 6-1 only. But you can definitely see there's almost 1 million fame between the 10th and 11th spot. 10th and up. Basically, these two teams have just been doing constant Hellgates. They're always running 6-1. If you see them being 6-1 or don't fight them, they're an organised and good team. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Moving on then to fame of all time. If it will load, question mark. So again, we see crafters typically take the top spot for fame, just because you get so much fame from crafting and studying. Again, 15 mil. This is the first one. Actually, Costin has been doing the stone blocks for the buildings. So people have been giving him the buildings. He's been refining them up and then putting the blocks into the buildings. And that is where the majority of his fame has come from. It's just a ridiculous amount that he's managed to get from that. Moving on, I want to see what the highest kill fame or mob fame is. Looks like Delicious Milk actually at 3.1 million mob fame. Absolutely insane. That is just crazy. 410 kill players. He's doing really well there. I'm just having a look. Looks like he runs a couple of gates, a couple of open world stuff. But yeah, he gets ridiculous amounts of mob fame right there, and I think he is number one right now. Silver collected, 31.3 mil silver collected. That's incredible. How he's managed to do it, I do not know. Fair play to him. Looks like they've actually been doing a lot of fame farming with him. 3 million mob fame. He's potentially just picked it up over the time. Moving on to resource value. This is gathering fame. Peganasius, that was really butchered. I apologize for that. Peganasius running 2.7 million gathering fame. Just to give an example, Tier 8 only needs 1.1 million, so that's 1.1 1 mil, so that's 2.1, 2.6, 2.8, 2.9. Yeah, so 2.9 million and you're tier 8 without any learning points, and he's 2.7 million already. That is absolutely insane that he's managed to do that. Fair play. That's an incredible feat. Just looking, his last death was 2 days ago, and he was in full T7 tools and gatherer's equipment then, already able to gather tier 8. Just incredible. Well played to these guys. Moving on then to Ninipal, 2.4 million, 2.3, 2.0. All of these guys, I imagine, can gather T7 already. Just trying to see if there's an indication of that. I imagine all of these top ones at the moment can gather T7. The fact that they've able to get this far, they've probably used the Resource Guardians just to boost their resources up a lot. But ultimately, they've done a great job just hard farming that, and incredibly boring at times, but obviously doing well with it. Moving on then to territories owned. So, of all time, actually, let's do this week. Money Guild coming out on top at 20. This is a different story to what we saw originally with War Legend coming out on top last week. Nilfgaard coming in at 13. Blackout coming in at 13. Pretty surprising. Blackout, obviously, low Outlands Guild at the moment. These are the combinations of Betrayed Souls and the Abyss. So both big names, both big guilds in Beta 3. We're seeing them come in and be a really, really strong team right now. Echo Ashiro running has got 12 War Legend Swarm, the highest War Legend guild right now is at 11. Huge changes from last week. Money Guild really holding Murcia down right now. But Nilfgaard coming back from a pretty bad start for them guys. Blackout weren't really heard of in the first week, but have kind of come out of nowhere. Echo Ashira, we knew they were doing well. They've held that middle continent really well. And again, you see Echo Ashira, Echo Silence, Chicken Kiss, all in the top 10 there. Zorn went from being a 1 territory guild to being 9 in a week. That's really well played by them. Conflict, Tea Party, Millennium, all Oops Alliance having 8 each. 8, 16, 24, and 44 in the top 10. Sorry, top 11. That's pretty insane. We see Mercenarios, Filthy Casuals. Actually, there's a lot of territory spread around right now. So actually have a look. That's 65 guilds that own a territory right now. That's pretty damn impressive. Moving into kill value and things like that, Nilfgaard actually have the highest kill value in-game, which is just mental. I'm really surprised by that, actually. I haven't seen them, other than Jagger and his crew, haven't seen them be particularly high in kill fame, whereas you look at No Life obviously has that 5-man team, all at the 1 to 5 spots for solo fame, only at 14.6 mil, over double pretty much, in fact over double for Nilfgaard right now. So impressive to see that there. Money Guild, Tea Party are both having 36 mil between the two. I know they've done a lot of fame farming. They've probably held a lot of dungeons down. They've probably held Murcia down, in fairness. They've been involved in a lot of fights. War Legend, again, we saw them be higher last week. 7th now. They've really fallen behind. We'll talk about them again just a little bit further on. Fame, War Legend's still at the top. Very close though. They've gone from having 300 plus members to 154 now, and Money Guild are 0.3 million fame behind them. Considering the start War Legend had, for Money Guild to be that close, they've done a great job at recovering. Money Guild had a bit of a worse start, whereas War Legend had a super start, and it's kind of switched roles now. Nilfgaard, we've talked about these last week, very fame efficient through the entire time. We worked it out roughly fame per player in the alliance, and ultimately it's really efficient, the fact that they've managed to get this much. They've been keeping up, bearing in mind they haven't had the greatest start to launch. Team Casualty, Echo Silence, they've pretty much got the middle zones on lockdown. Echo Ashiro, so Oops are kind of able to just free farm in Murcia. EWA able to free farm in Cumbria. Oops not really able to, Arch not really able to do too much right now. Moving on to Silver Collected. I'm not going to talk about this too much, it's just an insane amount. A lot of this would have come from fame farming. Gentlemen out of nowhere taking 221 million silver though, which is just incredible. We start to see where the gatherers are at right now, which guilds they're in. War Legend actually doing crazy good with their gathering. I'm sure that they've got like a T8 building, that's like T8 town. Let's actually have a look at their main town right now. Their main town is, there we go, they've got a T8 stonemason and like almost full T7 buildings. Really impressive to see that. I don't know which is the main hut for Money Guild. See if we can find that to see what they've got. Is this it? That is definitely not it. Where is Money Guild's? Is this? Nope. I have no idea where Money Guild are actually based out of. I know they have got a city plot. We did actually see castles being fought. Gentlemen actually having almost full T7 buildings now as well. So we're starting to see guilds get to that sort of place right now. It's really impressive to see them get there. Moving back over to the leaderboards. But yeah, so resource value. Obviously territories owned we've had a look at. We'll have a look at the Alliance ones now. 63 territories to Money Guild and the Oops Alliance right now, compared to 47 from Arch. That's a lot higher than I actually expected from Arch, bearing in mind they've had a pretty tough week getting pushed out of Murcia. But it looks like War Legend Swarm, Brazil Forces, all that sort of thing. It looks like they've actually still got quite a few territories on lockdown. EOS wins again. The EWA Alliance have got a lot of territories on lockdown. A lot of them are actually in the Cumbria continent as well. Impressive that they're able to sustain that. Kings actually has Blackout in now. I don't think that was an original thing. I think originally it was maybe actually it might have been, I believe it was Mercenarios, Filthy Casuals and Blackout actually at the start of beta, and yeah, they've done really well. 2,300 man alliance, just to compare that. They've got the same amount as Oops. Obviously, Oops have had a great start coming into like being able to shut down War Legend and push into Murcia, so have got that clear lead. But again, they're doing really well. Forge Arm, interesting alliances actually. Again, Black Mamba being the guild that split off from the Fame Envy team. Solar, Hammer and Sickle, again guilds we've seen before. Zerg, they've come back really well to being from like 5 territories to now having 22 is incredible, and it's really well played by these guys. So yeah, so talking about weapons and things like that right now, that's something that people wanted me to bring up. Like popular weapons that we're seeing right now, obviously glaive, pike being 2 massive weapons that we're seeing right now as common picks in pretty much every group. Other sort of combat trends that we're seeing is double frost teams, whether that's a plate frost and a cloth frost, whether that's 2 cloth frosts and a tank, anything like that. Something that keeps popping up is probably not very good right now unless you use it in very, very specific ways is Arcane. But yeah, so Hellgates at the moment, typical gear level, 6-1 for the good groups, 5-1, maybe 5-2 for the lower groups, and GVGs, basically as you move down into the black zone, it starts at like 6-3, 6-2 for middle zone, 6-1 for the lower zone, and then flat 6, 5-1 for the Royal Continent. Anyway guys, if there's anything else you wish to know, please let me know. I will be happy to answer them questions in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and catch you later guys. Goodbye.